So using 3D M-bossibilities, and the one that I'm going to use is this gorgeous Delightful Daisies. Now I got the idea for this card from the advert that Spellbinders were doing for the Grand Caliber and or the 3D M-bossibilities, so this isn't an original idea, although of course I'll put my own take on it as we always do. So I've got these dies here, so obviously I've got my M-bossibilities, I've got the Papillon butterfly dies, which is a gorgeous set. Then I've got these tags, which I absolutely adore this set. It's Back to Basics tags, and they're really sweet. You've got some really good sizes in here, some really wee ones to much better, and they're actual tags rather than labels or anything, so they can kind of be attached and hang down, which is nice. And then I've got the gorgeous Borderabilities, and this one is Scalloped Borders 1, which is fabulous. I really like this one as well, and I haven't actually used this one, but I love the look of it, so we're going to be using that. Okay, so that's our dies and embossing folders. Then I've got a piece of cream cardstock, a piece of beautiful dusky blue cardstock, and then I've got this lovely set of paper from K & Companies, and this is the watercolour bouquet, and it's got some really lovely patterns and designs in it. Some of my favourites I haven't even got to use yet. But anyway, for today we're going to be using this one, and it's double-sided, which is what I really wanted for two reasons, because where I'm going to be doing it, it's going to be showing both sides. But also in this occasion, the two sides, I'm going to use both designs together. You'll see what I mean. They're going to be next to each other, as well as being able to see the back of it. So it works really well. So you're kind of getting quite a lot out of one sheet of card. So that's the card that we're going to use, and it's a lovely, really sort of summery yellow, which is going to be great. Okay, so we're going to first of all start with doing our embossing folder, because the size of our piece of embossing is going to determine the size of the card, because that's how we're working on this particular card. So we're going to emboss that, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so a 3D embossing folder has a different sandwich to a regular embossing folder because it's a different thickness. So the first thing that you need is your pink B plate that comes in your set with your Grand Caliber. You then want your embossing folder itself, and we're just going to put our paper in there. So I'm going to do it that way so that we get a nice, hopefully that will fit in nicely like that. And then I'm going to pop that in like that, so that's there. And then you're going to follow it up, and this one you have to always buy separately. So you're going to follow this up with your Raspberry D plate, and that goes on top of your embossing folder there. So then we're going to get our Grand Caliber and pop that through. Alright, let's see if that's actually worked. And it may be if you slightly layer it like that, it will help it go through a bit easier, because that definitely seemed really tight, and I remember last time that I did it, it seemed very tight. Okay, so there's the embossing, and it's come out beautifully, so I don't think we've got any concerns there. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, so that's that cut, and you can just see, I think, there we go. And so we've just cut about half of that sort of taggy bit there off. By the time we've put our ribbon on, there won't be very much of it showing, and it will just look like part of the design, hopefully. And now we're going to chalk our little flower and butterflies and everything, although we are going to be putting butterfly over the top of that. So I really want to do kind of a yellow on my flower here. So I'm just using my finger because it's often easier just to do that. Okay. As you can see, by using your finger you can get a nice soft chalk effect. And then we're going to use some of this orange, and I'm mixing it in with the yellow to just gently make it more blended. finally, just around the edges here, just soften it with my finger, just a little bit of the red, just to there we go. I think that looks really pretty actually. Really want to just add some dimension to this, so I'm just trying to pick up something a bit darker around these edges. I had some new ones of these that my mum gave me, so let's just, I think these will work a bit better. That's better. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my yellow. I'm going to really blend that in as well now. I think we still need a little bit of something dark around the edges, and I'm going to try on the same side as my red. I'm just going to put a tiny bit of brown. Just want to put a little bit on the tips of this. And then in the middle here, I really want to see if we can liven that yellow up with this gorgeous bright yellow that I've got. There we go, I think that looks nice. Okay, so that's our gorgeous sunflower done. Here, and obviously I need to do a little bit on here. I don't want this massively yellow, this one. I want it more I'm mixing dark green and brown on my finger, and I'm just putting that on. Let's make that a bit greener down here now. I'm just going to soften this bit a little bit up here. That's not quite how I wanted it. That's better. So I'm just really just doing a whole mix of the colours that we use and just putting them in. So happy with that now. Okay, so that's our 3D it done, and I think that looks really effective, and it is quite simple to do really. So that's that done. So we now need to spray that with some cheap hairspray to hold the chalk in place so it doesn't rub off. My card base is going to be this lovely blue, so I'm going to do it 4 3/4 wide, and I'm going to do it across this way because I want the length for my card to fold in half. So we're going to do 4 3/4, so that should give us roughly 1/4 inch each side of our image. And then it will give me some room for matting it as well if I need to. We then have to score our card at, well, the element was 5, so I want to do 5 1/4, I think. Maybe 5 1/2. Just give it a quick score, and I'm just going to use the edge of this ruler here and a score tool. And then fold that over. It's just going to sit on there like so. I'm just going to take 1/4 inch off the bottom there. Okay, so that's going to fit on there lovely. Now the back is deliberately a little bit longer because we are going to be adding something to the front, and I will probably add a bit more to the back as well to make it even longer than that. First thing I want to do is just glue this into place, so I'm going to use my 3D glue gel so that because it's got all these dips with the 3D embossing, and pop it on the front of our card here. Making sure it's in the right place. That's just drying off. What I'm going to do is pop that to one side, and then we're going to cut out our borders that we need from our grand caliber, and also our little butterflies and our tag. Okay, so here's all our elements. We've got the 2 butterflies. These are the matching pairs, so they'll go layer up nicely. I've got 3 of the borders from the Bordabilities set, and I think they go nicely together. They're kind of 2 different sets of dotty ones and a plain one, so that'll look nice. And then we've got our little baby tag. Let's stick these down. Okay, so I've got some tape, and I'm just going to stick these in place. I'm sticking them quite near the edge so that because I don't know how deep I want things to be, so until I know that, it's easier to put them as near the edge as possible. And I think I'll put those 3 first, and then I'll do my butterflies and tag afterwards. So let's now get my base mat and then pop this through the machine. Now I've just put my base plate, I've left it on my base plate, put my tan mat on, and my pink embossing mat plate, and we're going to run that through the machine. Okay, so that's gone through, so let's just take this off and see what we've got. I'm not sure if these have got embossing on them. Well, this one definitely hasn't because it moved. But I think that was a plain plate, so it probably didn't anyway. Might have done, just a little bit actually. Okay, slightly wonky, but not to worry. By the time we've put it all together, that won't show. Then we've got this one. So carefully peeling off our paper. Our tape, I mean. It didn't quite cut to the edge because the paper was longer than the die, but that doesn't matter because the die is longer than is wider than our card. Okay, and then just pop that out, and that looks lovely. And you can just see the little dots, very pretty. And then on this one, and then just gently pull that out. Oops. And that one's come out lovely evenly, so I will probably just swap those two over and use this one as my yellow one, because by the time I put that on it's not going to notice that it's wonky, so we'll use that like that and save me recutting it, and then we can just straighten the sides, saves wasting it. Okay, so that's our 3 pieces done there, so that looks really nice. So let's take those out the way and put them to one side, and then we need to do our butterfly and tag. Okay, so here they are cut out. I think they're absolutely gorgeous, and I think that yellow one with the blue layered up on top is going to look really, really nice. And then we've got our little tag here, which we can put our little sentiment on, and that's come out really pretty. Those tags are so nice. So I'm just going to take a little bit of our glue gel, and I'm going to pop some in the centre of our butterfly, the blue one. So this one's going to be more flat, and then the blue one we're going to arch his wings up like so, and then I'm just going to small amount just in the centre here, so we don't want too much there, and then we're going to take a bigger piece just down the edges, and I'm going to actually put those on this bit because it'll be a bit easier. Yeah. We've got a little tag, we don't want to get glue on him. A little blob on the side here, and then a little bit at the top, and that will hopefully just give that bit of dimension to our little butterfly, so that his little wings stand up. Okay, so then we're going to gently take this. Now what you don't want to do is squash it too much, because otherwise the glue gel is going to come through the holes, and we don't want that. So we're going to pop the middle down, and we are going to squidge that a little bit, and then we're just going to gently pop these down like so, so they're just gently touching the yellow, and it's just giving that bit of dimension. And then very carefully with our bit of a cloth, I'm just going to clean up that middle piece there, and then we can leave that to set. Okay, so what I want to do now I've let my butterfly dry is I want to put in my back piece here. I've got an envelope, and it's 5 by 7, which is going to fit beautifully, but I need to make this piece longer, which I want to do as well, so I've got room on the front. So I'm going to use some of this gorgeous paper, so when it shows from the back you're going to have that, and on the front we're going to have this, because then that will show through on the front. Once we put our scallops through, a little piece of this will show, and it'll just bring this all together. So I'm wanting the blue to be the part that's showing quite a lot, so I'm just working it out so that it sits nicely, and I've had a little bit of adhesive down there already, and I'm just going to put a little bit more on the top edge here because it wasn't quite tall enough, and stick that down like so, and then that will be a perfect fit, hopefully, for there, and hopefully these bits of blue will just pop through the bottom very nicely. And then I may well put this in here as well, Yeah, that should be fine. So we're going to pop this piece down, and then that will bring the yellow through as well. So just pop that in here, like that. Okay, now we obviously need to just cut the excess off the side here. So just turning that over and using our scissors, just going to cut down this edge like so. Okay. And then once our front's on, that will stand like that and look lovely. So that's the front bit. Now we've got our scallops here. So we now need to stick these together so they also fit in the correct position and the right spacing. So we're not going to stick it to the back yet, but we are going to pop them down. So I want that one down at the bottom, so we know that's got to be there. Like so. Our envelope now. So that's going to be like that sort of position, and we want it evenly across. And actually I think what I will do is get a piece of my purple tape so that I can hold it at the sides. Is I'll line this up, and then I can, so that will be central. So then I can stick it to my desk here, just while I work out exactly where I want these. And then that one's going to go about there. These look nice and even, so let's stick these ones down. That looks good. And now I'll stick this one down. That looks about so. Okay, so we know those are correct now, so we can lift that up, take our tape off, and we can fiddle around putting that on our image here. So let's put that like so. So lining it up at the sides and at the bottom. That looks good. There we go. And then we're just going to take our scissors and cut along those sides. And there we go, our base card done, and I think that looks really pretty. I'm really pleased with that. Oops. And it's got that really nice shape. So now we've got a ribbon that's going to go across here. And we'll have to glue it the other side actually, because of course it will slide down. So it's in line roughly with this bit here. So let's just put some adhesive along this bit here. There we go. Which side do we want? Oh, not this side, I think. No, because we're having our sentiment over here. Actually, I want to do this differently to what I'm doing here. I want it to come on here with some adhesive, and I'm going to stick that down to there, and then I'm going to put this piece and down with a bit of adhesive as well. And I'm going to stick that so it overlaps. And then I will put so that's that done on the front, and then what we'll do is we'll make sure that we put our little element there, so we'll get a little knot, because what was happening is it was twisting the ribbon and it was leaving a gap, and I didn't like the gap. Like so. But we're going to put our binders twine around first as well. So I've got this lovely yellow twine, so before I put that down we're going to wrap this round a couple of times. So let's just get our little sentiment tag, pop this up here for a minute and get our little sentiment tag and stamp our sentiment so that we can attach our sentiment to the twine as we knot it here. So I've got a little get well. I'm just using some archival ink because it gives a really nice crisp impression, I think. So then we just hover over. And that says the get well on it, which is really nice. So that's that bit done. So then we can bring this back in and just thread it through our sentiment. I'm going to do one knot actually first, making sure that the knot's in the right place. So that's good. Okay, then getting our sentiment through, and then it might be that that even just covers up that whole thing without the need to put the ribbon on, which will be quite good. Yeah, I'm liking that so far. Okay, I just want to twiddle that over a little bit, that's better. And then let's get our bow sorted out because it's got in a tangle. Right, so let's pull that aside. And that's gone through there, so let's just pop him back out again. That's it. And then pull that side, untwisting it. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue gel underneath my tag there so it stays slightly further round, because I don't quite like it like that. I want it just a little bit more like that. That's better, happier with that. There we go. And that has successfully covered up the join in the ribbon as well, so that's great because I didn't particularly want to add the little bow, so that was good news. So now I just need to add my butterfly, which is the blue. Yeah, I quite like that. I think that adds something there. I'm not sure if I want them there though. And I think there is the best place. That just brings in some of the blue. Okay. So a tiny bit of glue gel there. And pop him down. And then a tiny bit just here. And a tiny bit there. Oh, and I haven't stuck the butterfly down. I don't want the butterfly upright, so we're just putting it flat on the back there really, because we've already done the dimension. So we're just going to pop this one, whoops, in position, sort of there. I think that looks good. Yeah. I added a couple of elements. I added a pearl just down here and on the body of the butterfly, and I thought that really was very pretty and worked really well. I also added a strip of the blue at the bottom of our inside, and I think that balances that up really nicely, but also when we close the card the blue shows through, and I think that just brings that blue in at the bottom, which is what I was hoping to do, because the butterfly, as you saw, I was struggling to try and bring that together and make it work, because the butterfly was quite strong amount of blue for the small amount around the edge and it wasn't really balanced. But now I think that looks a lot better, so I'm really pleased with that. And then lastly, I've got this gorgeous stamp by Paper Tray Ink. So we had the Get Well on the front, and then on the inside I put Wishing You Brighter Days, and I thought that was really appropriate for this kind of card. Bye now.